For those of you that are chiming in right about now, I want to say welcome to the Big Long Podcast. What's really going on? Y'all stay tuned. I'm going to get with you in a few minutes here, but kick back as we gather a few more of my panelists, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing crack-a-lacking. All right. As I mentioned, once again, you welcome to the Be Long Podcast. For those of you that are tuning in and want to chat in with us, got one more panelist to join us, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started for you. In the meantime, enjoy a little bit of the smooth jazz, little thing by Johnny Gill. Oh, my, you may recognize it. But we should be with you any minute here. Okay? So hang in there.
A song for all the ladies out there.
All right, looks like we're gonna go ahead and get ready to get this thing going right about now. For those of you that can hear me. Okay, what's happening? I just want to start by saying what's happening, video world, and to all my video viewers, my double V's, my dub V's, as I like to call you. Welcome once again to the channel that's bringing you complete entertainment, all rolled up in one. What channel might that be? Well, I'm glad you thought it. The channel I'm referring to is the one and only one, DJ Belong Studio.com. Now you might ask yourself, what's so different about this channel? And I say the difference is you. Most definitely you. The difference is you. That's right. The difference will be you tuning in to keep up with a variety of current topics, including music, sports, domestic and worldwide social events. Politics, which is what we're going to hit up on today. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that debate that went down last night. Of course, we do touch a little bit on religion, like to stay away from it as much as possible. And of course, relationships, just to mention a few. It's all about entertaining, enlightening, and basically enlightening you in various ways, all under one umbrella. The umbrella of DJ Belong Studio.com. And today's featured podcast will be what's really going on. So without further ado, let me bring my distinguished panel online. Panel, y'all there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you.
Hey,
loud
Bingo,
and clear.
how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm very good. And let's see here. We got Dr. Bobby Smith. Are you there yet, Dr. Bobby?
Yes.
Powell?
I'm here.
Okay.
I don't have
Let
my
me see.
picture on, but I'm
You-
trying
you-
to see it.
Okay, there you. I got you there. You might want to adjust your camera a little bit, just so I can get your face. We want people to make sure they see who they talking to. They can see at least who they're speaking to. Okay.
Better?
Take your time. Go ahead and get yourself situated, and we'll go ahead and get started. First off, okay, I got some feedback, so. All right. Everybody can hear me okay. Simone, you good?
I'm good.
All right,
everybody.
great. That's great. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the music down, and then like I said, we'll go ahead and allow you all. Typically, you want to try to, as a guest, you want to try to introduce your panelists. But for me, I want y'all to tell the people who y'all are. Tell them how you want to tell them. I mean, hype yourself up, throw out your credentials. You do be natural, and I won't have it any other way. You got to be natural here. No, we don't want to try to be politically correct. We want to make this thing go off because we got a whole lot to talk about coming down with this with this debate last night. So with that, with me saying that, let me go ahead and we'll start with you, Simone. Do you want to go ahead and tell the people who you are?
Sure.
Yeah. We're gonna do you like it was back in the grade school
there
days.
real quick.
Yeah, that's it. You ready? I know you didn't have to get ready because I'm sure you stay ready.
Of course. So, hi, my name is Simone. I'm originally from New York, from the Bronx, BX all day.
New York in the house.
Right. So I'm definitely gonna tell it like it is.
That's what we're talking about.
Grew up here in South Florida, Miramar. Started out at FAM, but right now I'm at FIU finishing my bachelor's degree in sociology. Was working with a tech company, doing claims insurance. So I'm in that field as well. So I have a little bit of background in tech as well. Single mom, 17-year-old daughter who can be her opinion on everything as well to make sure that her voice is heard through me. So I'm going to make sure I bring up their concerns as well as what the kids are watching and hearing. So, but yeah, that's just me.
All right. Well, listen, appreciate the candor and definitely the humor as well. And we looking forward to making this thing happen like it's going to happen. With that being said, James, you wanna take the next shot at it?
Yeah, why not? Hello, everybody. I'm James L. Larkin, Vietnam era veteran. I'm not going to point to who my favorite team is, but
Oh,
uh,
you already blew that. So, you know what? I'm gonna have to cut you. I'm gonna have to drop you off the panel because you coming in the wrong way. You coming in with a dolphin hat on? Oh no. I'm sorry. You
hey,
just been disqualified.
hey, I'm not pointing now, Bingo. I'm not pointing, son. But I was born and
Okay.
raised here in Miami. I used to be with the Dolphins back in the day. Matter of fact, by 1973, tried out for them
Mm-hmm.
and didn't make the team, but I did wind up going into the military. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. Uh,
Okay. Big ups to the Vietnam veteran, the veterans, the
yeah,
military. But today,
yeah.
by a matter of fact, today is 9/11, huh?
Yes, yes. I was watching some of the events on CNN, and that was near and dear to me because at that time I was at a college called Johnson and Wales University Culinary College in North Miami, Florida, and I just happened to saw it. I thought they were making a movie or something, and found out that was for real. So I got with a lot of buddies all throughout the country, and we confirmed that what happened today it was terrible. But at the same time, you know, America is still number one around the world, and I'm so blessed to be here in this country. And I just want to tell everybody that I'm glad that I did what I did in order to protect the freedom that we got in this country. So uh, I am a Miamian, a true Miami, born and raised here and born here. And I want to
True
tell
Floridian, huh?
everybody, yes, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Well, yeah, ditto. Because I was born and raised in the 305, as they say as well. All right. We appreciate that, James. And then what we're gonna do here now is get Dr. Bobby Smith in here. I keep Dr. Powell, and go ahead and get her in here and let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Good afternoon. I'm a native, Dr. Bobby Smith Powell. I'm a native Floridian, and I'm a retired educator after spending 35 years in education here in Florida. I've taught from kindergarten through college level, and 20 of those years I taught social studies. And I only bring that up because that's what kind of gets me over into the area of politics. I live in Highlands County, which is about an hour and 15 minutes south of Orlando and about an hour and 15 minutes south of Tampa. So we're right in the central part of Florida. I've been here since 1992. I relocated here from Dade County, and I retired in 2015 and co-founder of a church in 2016 with my husband and I, the Living Body of Christ. We have a ministry through our church where we have distributed over 5 million pounds of food since COVID. We have
Wow, a lot of food.
a
Wow.
shower, a portable clothing closet, and we distributed thousands of masks and gloves and cleaning supplies all throughout the COVID period. And we transitioned from helping the homeless and the COVID population to hurricane assistance. I'm currently the executive director of Highlands County Long Term Recovery Group, and we are assisting survivors with repair damage from Hurricane Ian at this time. And in addition to that, I've been a previous candidate.
Uh, In addition to that, your phone is ringing. Well, anyway, I appreciate listening. You got obviously your list is pretty extensive, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get ready to grab everybody back on it, and we're gonna jump right into this debate that went down last night. So appreciate you coming on, and appreciate your information. And I would say to everyone on the panel, as I mentioned, just, unfiltered. Feel free to to speak your mind, and let's not try to be politically correct. That's not what this is about. Okay. And as far as Michael Larkin is concerned, you guys can see the comments there. Some people are chiming in. Appreciate you. Remember, y'all can hit us up on chat live. You got any specific questions for any one of the panelists? please feel free to holler at him through the chat. And if you got anything you want to throw at me, holler at me. Michael, we ain't going to talk football, but I do a little show called Sports Fanatics, and I got a whole lot of things to say about the Dolphins, for you and James. But anyway, with that being said,
that's my brother, Bingo. So just to let you know.
Okay, no wonder. That explains everything, huh? That explains everything. Okay, not a problem. Well, listen, obviously, we all watched the debate last night, and I call it the prosecutor versus the felon, as I want to call it right here on this What's Really Going On podcast. And I'm going to just throw this out there, and anybody that feel like jumping in and answering the question right away, go ahead and express your opinion right away. Now, first thing I want to ask is, what was your initial eye opener for the debate? What was I mean, I know they were on for an hour or so, but what was your initial eye opener that said, okay, it's on? Anybody want to take a shot at that? Simone, I see you cheating. What's going on?
Because I'm trying to think, like, which part wasn't an eye opener? I mean, of course, the one topic, we talked about a little earlier that's still sticking out in my mind, and I find it extremely offensive, is when he did say, and I'm going to go right into it, about Haitians eating animals and the cats. And I'm just like, nobody stopped and prepped him to not say these things. Like, in my mind, I'm like, how do we allow? Like, I get you say racist things all the time, but it was like, it's not even just a race. It was like plain stupid. And I mean, stupid on the fact of your own career, what you're putting on the line, and people are backing you. And this is the garbage that you're spewing out. And of course, I'm going to find it extremely offensive because, my daughter's other side of the family is Haitian. So it's like, now you're talking about, a whole culture that they're coming in that already been fighting all type of, stereotypes as it is. Now you're putting it out there on a political stage that this is what's happening. And this is what I'm like, oh, hell no. This is ridiculous. I mean, but again, what can you really, when he say and starts talking, are we really that surprised anymore when he starts saying these things? It becomes a hot topic, but at the same time, it's like, okay, what else he gonna say? Because this is not the worst he said, and it's not the last of it. So, but that right there, just, right behind from when he said that, black jobs, and now we're talking about Haitians eating animals. That really irked my nerves for that. So, but yeah, listen, that
got a lot of people's attention. What do you say about that, Dr. Powell?
Well, number one, I just didn't. I never thought that he would go there, but I don't find it strange and out of the ordinary for him, because I feel that anything is capable of coming out of his mouth. He just goes on and on when it comes to, even with the racism, is that being a part, kind of like a racist statement. Even when he talked about, when she brought up about the full page ad that he put out, he didn't seem to even care that he put out that ad for execution for those guys. When it was brought up, the question about when all of a sudden she became black. I don't care. I don't care what she can be, whatever she want to be. It's okay with me. It's like he says those things, and he's not he's not ignorant. So he says them, and he really just doesn't care. But that's not the point. That, like she said, through the entire debate, I was like on my feet. I was in tune. But when she first walked out on stage, that's when it hit me how she walked out. She walked out in the front of the podium, went straight to him, held out her hand, pronounced her name so he wouldn't get it wrong, even though he never used it any time throughout the whole debate, because she just became she.
Right.
Became a third person, And that's when it set it off to me, the way she approached him, how she shook his hand and she was at his podium when she shook his hand. And from that point forward, she was in control.
She was.
Absolutely. I love the way she actually she walked over to his podium on the handshake.
Right.
She didn't wait in the middle of it. She walked to him. Like, okay, dude. Exactly. Hey, listen, this is what it's all about. And which kind of hard for me to believe and realize that that's the first time they've ever met personally. That's kind of hard to believe.
I was surprised by that. I thought this, when you think of, politicians in the political world, that they kind of all mingled around each other at some point. And, for one, when I realized how tall he is and how short she is, and he, walked up and like, this is the first time they're meeting. And I'm like, that's real? Like, I've never seen, been in the same room at the same time. Then I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Because when he left the White House, he ain't never returned. You can't come back here. So
no, they should have locked the door behind him.
You ain't coming back to the job just like that. Once your ass is gone, that's it. You gotta go. So I get why this is the first time.
Like they say, you ain't got to go home, but you got to do what?
Get the hell up out of here.
No doubt. Yeah. So James, what jumped out at you initially, man? What was the first thing that caught your eye?
Well, there was two things.
Okay,
I think the one that really got me, and I just started laughing, was the 81 million had fired Trump. 81 million had fired Trump. So,
yeah, that hit home with me too. That resonated with me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she came in with a plan. She said, "I got one." So act like baiting him. What's your plan? And she started knocking him down, and. I like what she said. I like how she came across as a person about me and not so much about herself. And that was very extraordinary because we've dealt with Trump before. And the third one, I'm just going to put a third one in there, is saying we don't want to go back. And that's absolutely correct. We don't want to go back. So no. I thought the whole thing was pretty good. I mean, everybody got their own opinion, but that's just where I saw it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, and again, like they say, they say about opinions and stuff, we all got them. And if you know the old term about it, I won't repeat it at this point. Yeah, exactly. It's some smell, they like, listen, this is PC. I mean, not PC. This is unfiltered. It's politically. Wait a minute. Let me get that back. It's unfiltered, and everybody got an asshole. But some stink more than others. I think that's how it went. Some stink more than others. Absolutely. Let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I just wanted to piggyback off the comment that I see your brother made. That how it didn't change anyone's opinion because as far as their policies didn't get to explain. I was saying this a little earlier and I thought about it. Now, granted, Kamala did list, she started to get into the policies when she started to talk about, okay, what's, tax breaks for small businesses and, what she would do in that area, but didn't get into full detail like I do want to hear. Granted, I enjoy the entertainment of all and the antics and, the foolishness that Trump is going to say. But at the same time, I watched the debate because I really want to hear what both parties are going to say as far as the policies and how it's going to affect me directly. You can't do that with Trump. You can't come on the stage and think you're just going to not be able to defend or rebuttal anything that he's going to say. So that's why I wanted to just a little piggyback off of that. I don't think it's not going to change anyone's mind per se, but this wasn't in the debate where we're going to look at and say, oh yeah, Trump was going to, rolled out this policy and Kamala, had all these policies listed. I'm pretty sure, I know Kamala got her policies listed. I don't know.
Right.
We have yet to hear what Trump has got to say. But at the same time, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because, I can only imagine being on the stage with that and being a prosecutor, you're going to want to rebuttal and touch on every little thing that this man has said, right and wrong, mostly 90% wrong, because you got to look at it and make sure that you already command the stage as you walked out, and you're going to hold on to that stage. And that means everything that this man say, you listening and watching, and some of the things that he's saying is outrageous. So no, she wasn't given a real chance to really explain what her policies and what she, you know, as far as what she looking into do. But at the same time, they're out there. They're out there.
Well, so one thing. Okay, go ahead. Finish.
No. Go ahead.
One thing, they were asking questions. They had their own topics, and there wasn't really room or time enough. That's why they say a second debate or another debate, which we know probably won't happen because he's scared to death now. But it just within the time frame that they had, with them actually doing the leading, she had to even work the ones in that she brought in, because she talked about, like, we know we have a housing crisis in this country. So she talked about this $25,000 first time home buyer plan that she has. She talked about assisting families by helping with the child tax credit. She talked about small business and how $25,000 could be used for tax deductible to start up a business. So she did squeeze that in there. And I was happy to hear that, because he didn't have a plan. He had the concept of a plan.
Correct.
Even the plans and the few things that he brought up about the past, half of those things that he brought up in the past, he didn't do them when he was in there. So I think she did well with, and I think it would take another time for that. Or I'm hoping that since conversations are being addressed about that, I'm hoping that somewhere while she's out on the road and on these visits, that she will give a little more information at those times and use those opportunities to express more on her policies.
Right. That's it. That's in the sense of what I'm trying to say is, like, she have listed the plans, but couldn't get into details of how these plans are going to be executed. Because again, when you have somebody to your left that's saying that you went to talk to Putin and you sent you there a couple times, and like, wait a minute, now I got to go fight you on this, because I got to let the people know that's not true, because you're spewing out lies on me right here. So now I can't even get to the detail of how these plans are going to be executed, because I got to talk to you about the foolishness that you're saying. It's just like, as a mother talking to a child, I'm trying to tell you what you got to do, and yet you're giving me all type of foolishness, and now I got to correct you before I can get to what I need to tell you what to do. So
think about another thing.
I'm going to piggyback off Brian Shaw. Okay. Sorry, but what plan specifically? I just wanted to piggyback. Sorry about that, Dr. Powell. I don't know which candidate he was talking about, Brian Shaw, but clearly, Simone, I agree with you on that he didn't have a plan. He didn't. Every time he was asked a question, he bounced it back of what Biden and Kamala Harris didn't do. Instead of saying, well, can you correct that? What plans you have in order to counteract that, which he didn't. And I thought that Kamala was more focused, like I said again, with my issues. And speaking of that, Simone, as you know, here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, I try to help women with kids that's living in their cars, that got jobs but can't afford rent. And when Kamala came up with that, those are the type of people that need to help. I'm literally saying that I tried to call different agencies here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, and they are full. They couldn't even accept this poor woman's child. And another friend of mine, she had 2 kids and couldn't be helped here in Pembroke Pines. So, and this is across the country. I'm quite sure it probably is. So much immigrants is going on around the country. But this is what good news for me, what I heard last night. So as soon as she comes into office, I'm going to jump on that and see if I could reroute that and try to help some of these families here in Pembroke Pines.
Absolutely, and the way Mr. Trump kind of tend to do things, and we all know he'll try to get off track from answering any questions. He don't answer questions. He'll ad lib and put whatever he wants to put in there. Like she said, he'll be at his rallies. He would start talking about superheroes and this, that, and the other. And so he's not gonna. He don't. I haven't heard him put out a plan yet. As a matter of fact, one of the questions that the moderators asked him was, how does he plan to do this mass deportation? What's his plan for that?
Right.
He didn't have no answer. He didn't answer. How do you plan to do this? And one of the commentators even said, "Are you going to go door knocking and checking people's houses to see if they illegal or not?" He didn't have no plan. Mass deportation of immigrants? Come on now. But again, this is who he is. He like the late Denny Green said, they who we thought they was. That's a football term, ladies, in case y'all might not be quite familiar with that. But yeah, definitely. Apparently Brian have his opinion about certain things, and of course, remember, even though 81 million people fired him, was it 70, 74, 75 million people agreed with him. So that's almost split down the middle. So there's a whole lot of people.
This is my issue, is that I don't have a problem with, if you want to back, I don't even say to Trump, if you want to back the Republican Party, because I'm not going to say Trump, if you want to back the Republican Party and they agree with the policies that are going on, that's going to be put out there, or the plans that they want to put out there, that's fine. I just want to know, you're giving us, this big, I want to say like a gift, like you're saying, okay, here guys, we're going to do all these great things and it's going to benefit everybody in the economy. Okay, how are we executing that? Because you can't tell me, I'm going to give you tax cuts if you make, because I'm reading and I'm like trying to read it down like to the T. I started to take notes and I'm reading like the policies that he has, and I'm still don't see how. Because I can, and I said and mentioned, I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm gonna drive to Fort Myers. Okay, well, how you getting there? You ain't got no car, no gas. That's not the point. I'm gonna drive to Fort Myers. It's the same concept. Like you said, it's just a concept of a plan. How are you doing this? How are you executing this? If Trump has the actual, plan and policy in place to say, okay, one of them, he says that he's gonna for the benefits for Social Security. I want to say it right. Promising to end income taxes on Social Security benefits, which would help middle and upper income seniors the most. How? When we've been talking about how it's actually running out as much as, you want to, end the income taxes. And we're here talking about, especially like female, not even female, but people my age and younger who do know about Social Security, and we're learning that it's starting to run out. So how are you going to end the income tax benefits on it if it's starting to run out? Like, what's the plan behind it? So when I hear people say that, that's fine. I don't, be who you want, support who you want to support, but don't do it on the strength of, because he's popular and he just spews out something that just sounds good. How's he executing it? Because the only thing I heard about him saying is that, he's going to add more tariffs to, other countries, and, he's gonna, stop China from bringing in cars. I'm sorry, I'm a car girl. I have a problem with that. Don't stop China from bringing cars here. That's not gonna work. You can't just say you're gonna stop doing something because you don't like a country and you're gonna add tariffs on it, where as if that's gonna solve all our problems. That's not gonna solve the problem. So where is all of this going to come behind? How are you executing these plans and policies? That's
she pretty much so explained the conversation he had on tariffs. Because if things come in the country and tariffs have to be paid, the product is just going to go up. Trump is not going to have to pay that increase. It's the American public that's going to have to pay that increase. So he doesn't have to come up with any real plan other than I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's all he does. He doesn't even tell people how he's going to do things. He just, even when he was in there, he did what he did and didn't give an explanation. And then he'll say something. Look, he took all those documents home. And then he said he declassified them.
He said I could.
At the most convenient time. He didn't say anything about declassifying them when he was loading them up to take them down there. That just magically came up after they was found to be after they were located there in his residence. So Trump doesn't have. He said, "I have a concept of a plan.
Correct.
I'm still thinking about one. I have an
Like I
idea."
said, it's the same thing as me saying I'm gonna go to Fort Myers. I just don't know how I'm gonna get there. I don't know how I'm gonna get there.
Yep.
I'm gonna drive to New York. I ain't got no car, no gas, but I'm gonna get there.
I might fly, whatever way I want to get there. I might, that's just having a concept of a plan and a plan is two different things. But he does have a plan in 2025 that they have for him.
Yeah, that Project 2025.
Yeah,
that's a playbook.
That right there is I didn't read into it completely because it just starts off just I'm like you just want to make sure that this man cannot come to office if this is his the backing of his policy and his team or whoever it is that's behind him that's setting this up, because that is a scary project.
Well, let me tell you something. He already said last night that he know nothing about it. He didn't put it together. In other words, he pretty much backed out of everything, and I'm quite sure he know what was going on with that.
Oh yeah, we know
that.
Absolutely.
Who would do that and not involve him with it and the idea that he come up with? So,
he's a big liar. He didn't like, but it's not his plan, but he's going to be the major executor of the plan if he gets in the position to do that. And then the scariest thing is you were saying fear well, I won't necessarily say fear. I think we need to be prepared either way. If lose or win, some preparation has to be made. He has mentioned bloodbath too many times.
Right. If he's not elected.
World War III out of context too many times. So he did not denounce Putin. He did not say he wanted Ukraine. He thought that we should support Ukraine. He showed that when he was in office, when all that stuff went on about him not wanting to give Ukraine the money. He praises this dictator who says that Trump needs to come back. He sells the American chips to China. So it seems to be that World War III would include a lot of nations, a lot of countries. So maybe, and he's not friends with the friends of the United States. His friend, the leaders that he is friends with happens to be our enemies. So if we have domestic terror, if we have some type of another January 6th, and some outside forces are going to come in to aid him, I worry that we have a much larger issue that we need to be prepared for a larger situation. And I just pray that our nation is prepared.
I'm going to go back to immigrations. I'm going to go back to immigrations. And he talked about that and how we was the worst and worst and worst. But he was the one that separated the mothers from the babies. Put them in jails.
And we never found those babies.
That exactly. And about the drug dealers, they've been trafficking drugs in this country for years. They destroyed an underground tunnel that they did from Mexico all the way toward the homes here in El Paso, Texas. I was in El Paso. So what he was talking about was really what started with him of not doing anything when he was in office. And then about, like you were saying earlier, Bingo, where are you going to put these immigrations people? And this country was built on immigrants. You got to remember, we was the only people that came in slaves. That came in with shackles. Other people came in freedom on boats in this country and got citizenship, but we didn't. So I can understand if they got the immigrants in, put them to work. We got these like they used to do with the chain gang in jails. Put them and clean the streets up, sweep the streets, put them to work. Have the mothers babysit maybe kids or something like that. But if something could be done in order for these immigrants to be able to come in this country and contribute instead of just giving them food stamps and places to stay and stuff like that. And they're sitting on the street, they're living in the streets. Uh, we were talking about this at my office uh, about the same subject of trying to help these people. And I made that earlier to y'all how these families are living in their cars.
Of course, yeah.
So my thing is, we can make things work in this country, but we always have to come together with a collective mind, like this country was built on, and see what we can do.
I
Absolutely.
sort of agree on that. Now, here's
Okay.
my thing, and also just keep in mind, my family's Jamaican. I have Jamaican, I have Chinese, I, have we all different races if you know about Jamaicans. We just include everybody. At the same time, when I look at immigration and the influx of it, of how, like, yes, of course, knowing history, our country was literally built off the backs of immigrants. And it's continuously built off the backs of immigrants who come here properly. I have an issue where we have that high influx of number coming in, and I see how it's changing, not only where our resources are being used, where a lot of our benefits are being used, and how it's also changing how our neighborhoods that we are once familiar with is not looking the same. And I'm saying that coming as somebody from New York in the Bronx, where, yeah, I grew up with mostly Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans that come in. They're here, they work, whatever. Everybody's here, or you're a native New Yorker. Cool. Now it's not that anymore. Now it's everybody from Ecuador, everybody from Mexico, everybody from Colombia, everybody from Venezuela. And, trying to like figure out how is everybody living, especially like thinking of a place in New York where everybody's complaining, oh, the cost is so high, blah, blah, blah. How's everybody living here? But, we're getting so much immigrants. I'm sorry. I feel like there needs to be a ban on immigrants. We need to have a stronger security on our border of how much immigrants, or allowing so much immigrants come in. Because at the end of the day, we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
So, children of immigrants are here. People who were born and raised here are here. So yes, it would be nice to have, a way to, come together and include and help these people out. But at the same time, you literally can't. We can't do it. I don't see how we're going to do it. I don't see the resources that's going to come in to do it. We can raise so much money. We can, help out with so much benefits. Yeah, I feel like it is unfair when I hear stories about, a Mexican. It don't even have to be, I'm not even going to specifically say Mexican, but an immigrant who come in and gets, $1,200 in food stamps every month. And, they have 3 kids. Whereas I know people personally who, work maybe less than what the minimum wage is, trying to put food on the table for their one child, but can't get no benefits, no help whatsoever. And they're actually trying, versus somebody who just came here and off the back getting everything that they need, from clothing to housing to food and everything else, to get them going. Whereas somebody who's working hard and trying to get themselves not to be on it, but need a little help to push to get to where they need to be. So we're like looking past all the people that actually need. I'm not saying that they don't need it, but at the same time, we can't afford to have so much people come in to get all these benefits at the same time. We can't. We have to figure out how we're going to secure our borders to where, it still benefits the people that live here, not just the people who come here. And now, like Trump said, they're going to take our Black jobs.
Right.
Let me.
Guess what kind of job he's trying to get right now?
A Black job.
A Black job, because that's Kamala's job.
Well,
That's Kamala's job.
Let me say something. I know a lot of things are just stated in general. I've worked early on. I worked on my first job. I worked as a welfare food stamp eligibility worker. So I know that's been many years ago, and rules and regulations change. But I also help a lot of people. And I also work with the homeless population, and I help with the point in time count for the homeless. And we covered 6 counties the last time I went out for the point in time count. And I can tell you that 75% of the homeless people that we counted were not immigrants. And to my amazement, they were not black. They were white. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to put anybody down. I'm just being factual. That's what they were. They were white people. And most of the homeless population that we work with here in our county are white people. Because black people have this tendency to open their doors and let their family sleep on the couch or sleep on the porch or sleep in the backyard or somewhere. So I wanted to touch bases on that, number one, about this homeless population. And then number two, I also help with a lot of paperwork with people applying for different types of benefits. And if a person does not have an I-94 or a green card, then they don't even qualify for benefits. So we have to be very careful not to make statements that will make it appear as though these immigrants are coming in here and just robbing us of our benefits. Now, if they have children here and the children are birthed here, yes, those children do qualify for benefits because they are born in America. Maybe there needs to be some curtailing to that so that only a certain number of kids born in the household, after you get to two, they can cut it so they can make some rules in order to make it where it wouldn't be every time they have a baby it counts, because they have a lot of babies. I can agree with that, especially Hispanic population. But as far as the neighborhoods not looking the same, our neighborhoods here, because I work with the repair and rebuild now, I attend a lot of the community redevelopment agency meetings, funding that comes into these counties all over the United States that were allocated to help rebuild your poor neighborhoods have been zoned out by them, including other areas and extending those boundaries. And those funds are being used downtown for downtown redevelopment when that's not what that funding was initially for. So as far as the neighborhoods not looking the same, there are neighborhoods all over this United States that don't look the same because funds are not put back into those neighborhoods for redevelopment. Sure, if I can go down to the bank and borrow 10,000, I'm living in a neighborhood that is redlined, and I can go and borrow $20,000 or $30,000 and do renovation of my house. Or every time new homes get built or new development gets built, I can go down to the bank and I can borrow money. I can sell my house that I'm in. I can move into the new development. So I'm constantly living in the brand new developments and moving out of them when one or two people move into the area that I don't like or we don't like, and we abandon the neighborhood. So you have a cycle like that going on where new developments are continuously being built. People abandon those neighborhoods, and then they pass down to somebody else. But the redevelopment funds don't go into these neighborhoods like they should. We have a lot. We have to come together. We have to brainstorm. We have to work on a real solution, something that's human too at the same time. This country has so much vacant land across it where no one is, where nobody's living there, just empty, vacant space after space after space. Heads can be put together. Things can be developed, and just something can be done. Even if you had to make reservations or campgrounds and say, well, if you come into this country, then you have to live in this. There's a reservation here, a reservation there, a reservation there, and a reservation there. And you have to live there and stay in that reservation for a certain period of time until you get your education or so you can become productive. And then they know how to, the people that are coming into this country, a lot of those people, they know how to live almost with nothing. We throw away enough in this country where people would be so glad to just get the scraps that we throw away. So I think that if we really tried to do something, they could do something. They could come up with some solutions. And I know I can't take up all the time to talk about that, but there are ways.
Right.
I'm gonna piggyback off Gerald. I'm gonna piggyback off Gerald Bonds. He said a lot of the homeless are mental ill, pride, military, addicted to drugs, et cetera, et cetera. But we had that before the immigrants came into this country. To be honest,
That's right.
We had war veterans, like you said, the war veterans, big time.
That's right.
I'm a Vietnam era veteran, and I was diagnosed with PTSD. And thank
I
God that
just,
I was able to was blessed to be able to control it and not take pills or anything. But some people wouldn't like me. Some people could take catastrophic situations and can't handle it. Some people could, but at the end of the day, uh, I agree with Mr. Barnes that we had this before they came in. So, but how the biggest thing is, how do we help this situation that this country's in right now? What do we do? How can we help not only the people that's here, like you said, Simone, that's paying their taxes, they're doing the right thing, and even for military guys that put my life on the line, I still have to beg for some kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
what I'm
absolutely.
saying to what I'm saying to y'all, what is the overall answer? Because Trump and Kamala Harris can't do this on their own.
Oh, absolutely not.
that's right.
So we have to come, like you said earlier, come together as a country.
That's
And how
right.
can we solve this?
Well,
I participate in a plan. They have a monthly talk with it comes out of the president's office. It's like a neighborhood thing and it's a new thing. And I don't know how I got on it, but I ended up on it some kind of way. And what we're doing now is we're coming together and we're talking about neighborhoods and we're brainstorming and we're trying to work on just right now, we're just at a communication level. I'll see it like that. And from this communication level, I'm hoping that we can come up with some plans. And then, after you get plans, you got to have money to implement those plans.
That's
So
right.
there is a task force there now. I don't know how long it's going to continue. And if Trump gets back in there, it probably won't. But
well,
you have to have someone that has a heart for it, first of all. And he doesn't have a heart for it.
well, we you know what? We talk about plans, and really, it's been slapped in our face, and they're trying to ease it under the door. And again, I want to reflect back to Project 2025. That's a plan.
Mm,
There's a plan in
Oh, yeah,
place, but
that's
it's not for
absolutely
us.
the plan.
It is not for us. And that Project 25. If you get a chance, there's some things there. For example, when I was informed about of a situation with Project 25 where if you go to a public school and when you turn 18 years old and you're automatically enlisted into the military. Now, get this. Here's a caveat to it. If you go to a private Christian school,
mm,
you get to opt out.
You get the opt out. Yep.
mhm.
Now, who's that going to impact the most?
You know who it is. The minorities.
Going to send us off to the military.
Hmm. To protect the country that we won't even have any rights in.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
just as a thought, did Trump ever enlist into the
Oh,
military?
No, he didn't. He had some kind of
It sounds
ailment or
very
something where
familiar.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, this man,
Right.
he'll stand there and swear up and down he's all about the military, this, that, and the other. And then, he called, he calling John McCain
yeah.
a loser for being
Hmm.
captured. I mean, he's got generals out the yin yang that's just jump ship on him. I mean, so
They
he
say
he has no
yeah,
respect for nobody but Donald Trump. That's it. He don't give a damn about nobody but
that's
himself.
right.
And don't be tricked. A lot of people are tricked, but he don't give a damn.
No, he
That's
don't.
And
right.
and somebody mentioned earlier about his friends. Think about this. They say birds of a feather try to flock together.
Yep.
Well,
Mm,
two of his best friends, obviously, it's Kim Jong Un. He's a
yep.
dictator for North
Hmm.
Korea. That's one of
Yep.
his best friends. And of course, who is his other best friend?
Putin.
Miss,
Putin.
Mr. Putin,
Mm-hmm.
another dictator.
Well, he gained another one today. The Prime Minister of Hungary,
Oh, really?
the
Oh, yeah,
autocrat.
that's right. That's right.
That's
I don't even know who that dude was, but
it.
yeah, man,
He's
and
right on the back.
he
Mm,
already admitted that he was leaning toward he wants to be a dictator. And that's
yep.
clear and stuff. This man has got, he's a convicted felon and want to run the most powerful country
Right.
in the world,
But this
the
is
And
what
most
I
Pence,
powerful
said.
country in the
It's
world.
like
yeah.
when you get to a point, and I don't know what to call it. I guess, when I say lightly said in his political career, because it's not real. But hey, but when you get to a point where you just realize I can literally say anything, and I don't know if you remember when I said this, James. I was like, he's like, the epitome of, when, as I'm, being at my age, I'm not that young, but hearing older people like, oh, when you get to a certain age, you can just say whatever you want to say, because, I don't really care no more. He is the epitome of that. He don't care about nothing. And I feel like this man literally sits at home and is like, what else can I say that's going to get these people riled up that it's not usually said. I don't have no plan about nothing, but I'm going to just say the craziest things that not most people, but, others are thinking and feel like they're not heard because they want to say these things, but can't say these things because they're extremely politically incorrect. But I'm going to say it. And I just feel like he is climbing up this ladder of saying whatever he wants to say and gaining these types of people that, basically, I'm sorry that I'm not trying to call Trumpers lowlife, but you got to have, some type of lowlife.
Why not? Why not?
I don't want to I'm not trying to disrespect them, but I'm just saying at the same time, you follow what he says, you do have to have some type of low life about you. You gotta have some type of, that quality to you that draws you to him and is making you feel like, oh yeah, everything he says it sounds crazy, but it's so crazy it just might work. And it's like it's like you and I'm like sitting here and I'm, and it's like, is this reality? Is this real? Because I can't understand how somebody can say all these things and then have so much people follow them. And these are the same people that be screaming like, I'm not racist. How you gonna say you're not racist and you just agree with this man who said he that Haitians eat cats and the black jobs? And you are. You are. My thing is, I hate to sit here and like, we can talk all the type of shit we want to talk about Trump all day. We can say everything bad because we already know what it is. My biggest issue is like for the Republican Party, this is an embarrassment for y'all. And I want them to really dig in deep and find somebody who has a real political career that could represent the Republican Party for real. Because I want to be confused on who I should pick on my candidate. I don't want to have to say, oh, I'm going off with Kamala off rip. I don't care what this lady say, because everything, it's never going to be as bad as what this felon is about to say. I don't want to be like that.
You're right, Simone. D. Mickle say, don't forget Steve Bannon. You know who Steve Bannon is?
Oh, yes, I do. That like he always drunk.
and D, that was a good one, D. That was a good one. So, but you're right, though, Simone. I'm going with somebody that's got some substance. Somebody that's looking out for me and my family. I'm looking for somebody, because as a military man, as I am, veteran, I protected this country overseas. So with that said, all my veteran friends that's around the world, and I still got some friends in some of these foreign countries, I really do believe that this country is going to head in the right direction with Kamala Harris being the president of the United States. Because I had to put gender aside and just deal with the facts and what's her plan. And she kind of convinced me last night, because she surely got a plan. And why that plan was going to work is because now it's toward the people and not somebody for themselves. So that's where I'm at with that.
Well, in order for him, and I'm with you too, because that's like having a vision. She has a vision and she has a plan for that vision. But at the same time, like we were all saying, 2025 is also written up. That's a plan. And they have millions of dollars to back that plan, if not billions, because this other millionaire, I can't think of his name right now. The one that's just coming
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Because he's about to jump on the bandwagon. They're supposed to be coming out with something very new in a minute.
Another one. Now
So
him, I'd keep a real watchful eye on Elon.
well, he's about as if I had to rate all both of them as to how far out of this world they are, I'd probably give him. He's on running neck to neck with Trump. So they also have a group of people, this large number of people that are following them. They are followers, and followers need leaders. And any person that comes out with the same ideas and concepts that they have, they will follow that person as their leader. And they won't call what they're doing racist as racist because they feel that they are superior. They feel that they are better than. And when people feel that they are better than, they don't consider that as racism. They just consider that as we're better than. When they were riding on horses, those that rode on the horses, they didn't have very much more than the slaves had. But because they were able to ride on a horse, they were glad to be in those positions. So you have the people that are following Trump. They don't have what he has. He can't even relate to life the way that ordinary people live. When she brought that up last night about the millions that were the silver platter that was in his hand that he was born with. So you have people, yeah. So you have people following him, and they're not. It has to them that term is not racism. They just feel that they are superior.
Hey, bingo. Brian Shaw come up with some good stuff here. Are black people that follow Trump racist?
You know, my initial answer is like yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
yes. I know, and I'm gonna say this because being in sociology, we always have this debate on can black people actually be racist, and in a sense, we go and dive deep into the whole history. Like, can't actually be racist, but you could be prejudiced. But in this situation,
is that the same, Simone? That's the same, right?
It's like the same difference. So I'm gonna say yes. Black people who follow Trump, yes, you do have a racism to you of your own kind. Yes,
very good, Brian Shaw. That was very
if you
good.
sit in here, you can't. If you're gonna back Trump up, and this is my thing with black people, if you're gonna back him up, then you better back everything he says. Everything. Don't pick and choose and say, oh, I don't agree that what he said about black jobs. I don't agree. You may not agree, but you follow him. So you're going to follow everything he say. And yes, and that what he says, we all know is racist. So if you're following every little thing, you want to be behind him on that, then you fall into that category as well. If you want to debate and say, no, I'm not right, then you're not a real Trump follower. Then you really need to relook at and reevaluate your political party of who you want to stand for real, because you're not going to sit here and say, pick and choose little by little what you want, what you like about Trump, what you don't like. No, back him up all the way. Go all the way with it. If you black and you want to support him, we seen the guy that lived out in Miami somewhere. I don't know if I've seen him on the news quite often. I can't remember his name. Full all the way Trump supporter. I hope he
black guy.
Yeah, with the little ponytail.
Michael the black man or something like that.
Something like that, right?
Okay.
He better back everything he says. Everything that Trump say that sound crazy about black people and about your own culture or about your own, nationality. Be behind it. And if it's racist and it sounds racist and you behind it, the shoe fit, then it is what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, black people, you can be racist, and you can be racist, you can be prejudiced, you can be racist. That's exactly what it is. But at the same time, I would hope that we would evaluate, our political stance when it comes to him, not the Republican Party, because I want to separate that. Me personally, I try to separate that because I don't feel the whole Republican Party is behind him 100%. And we can start to see that with some of these political, strong political figures coming out and backing Kamala instead of him. So if you're going to be, because when I say you are behind Trump, you're not behind Republican Party. You're behind Trump. So don't
party now, and it's already been stated that he has his own party, the Trump party, and those Republicans like Cheney and them, They are just saying that he has destroyed, he has divided, just like he's
Right.
divided the nation,
Exactly.
divided that party.
Exactly.
That's
There are those
exactly
there
right.
that are
Yep.
straight Trumpsters. They are not Republicans. And they need to go back and check themselves because Trump used immigrants to turn blacks against immigrants by saying they were coming to get our jobs. So we're supposed to hate them all because they're coming to get our jobs. And then he reaches out to the Christians by saying, oh, we want to kill all the babies. Look at that crazy statement he made. All the way up to the ninth month, even after the baby is born, that someone wants to execute the baby. So I mean, he'll
Right.
use
After the baby born.
yeah, all the way
Right.
to the
Right.
ninth month. He'll
Absolutely.
use he uses whatever is there to use like a politician. That's what a politician does. He's using that immigrants thing, didn't want it fixed, wanted the problem to stay there, wanted the problem to continue because he knew the election was coming up. This situation that he supported, that he placed those Supreme Court justices in there to overturn Roe v. Wade. So now he's got the opportunity to strip women of their freedom to choose. But that's going to go farther because the issue is not just the freedom of a woman to decide about an abortion. The main issue there is freedom of choice because they'll take that and apply it in other situations too because that's how the law does. That's how they do. They'll compare a case to a case. This situation is just like that. So you'll lose your freedom to choose in another situation, and another situation, and another situation. So after a while, freedom is gone because they pecked and pecked and pecked away at it. So he creates these his strong points, that immigration and that abortion. But that abortion slapped them back in the face because they try to use the word life, pro-life, pro-life. They didn't want the
Right.
issue to be on freedom of choice. They wanted to be, oh, we're talking about life. We're not talking about freedom of choice. When they know with the law things work hand in hand, and that's how they make them comparisons when they want to change things. So they're not trying to, they might as well not say they're pro-life because they're not, look, he wanted to execute those five boys and they were already alive. They're not pro-life. They're not. They we this biblical principle. God loves life. No, he said he had never even prayed or repented or whatever. Then when they asked him the question, so they're not trying to get people to repent or to change the way to live right or to do right. They're talking about a system, and they're using that system like they'll use anything else. Like they'll use this situation about the immigrant. He said Mexico were gonna build a wall. Remember when he went
Right.
in there? Oh, he's gonna make them build a wall. Did they build it?
Not
The
even.
president of Mexico
Listen.
said he wasn't going to put a dime in that wall.
Yeah, he wasn't paying for it. And you talk about the pro life group. There's a group called Heritage Foundation, and this is also in Project 2025. And I'm telling you, Project 2025 is the blueprint. Is what the hell they want to do. They've already started the plan. And of course,
Mhm.
if he gets in office,
Oh, it's in
there's no
full
stopping him.
force.
And one of the things he wants to do, well, one of the things that's stated in the Project 2025 is that they want to actually increase the death row penalty. They want to increase the amount of people going to the death row penalty,
But they're pro-life.
but they're pro-life.
Yeah,
And now, think about it for another quick second. Who are the most inmates that are on death row?
right.
And a lot of that has exactly. And when one other thing I throw out there as a little caveat and stuff, it's the same thing with the Medicare or the retirement. Um, you know, it's known that black men in particular don't live as long as most other men in the country or
Yeah.
as far as life expectancy. But the thing is it's a setup to actually get black men by increasing the age. Now certain groups of people are not going to make it to retirement,
Right.
and that group is who.
Black.
It's us.
So
Yeah.
we're paying into the system. And I mean, we just barely getting to 67, 68. But if you want to increase it to 70 or older, guess what? Our families won't benefit from that
No.
because most of us are dying before that.
But
When
I've
you look
Right.
at this,
said
when we pay
this.
Social Security, let me say this quickly though. When we pay Social Security, they take it out of our check, and the employee pays twice what we pay. Employers. Do you realize that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people realize that. They think it's just what the person pays in.
No.
But the employer turns around and pays twice what we pay. But what they've done is they've robbed that money.
Exactly. That's why I say it's running low, because they robbed and they using and robbing so much that what's going to happen when I need to go on Social Security if I have to go, God forbid,
if they keep their hands
there. But what's going to happen?
If they keep their hands out the pot and pay all that back what they took out the pot, how's a president going to ride? For 4 years, he was the president. He rode around on the golf cart more than he even stayed in office.
And he had the nerve to say the Biden always at the beach. So you can look at Biden and tell he ain't had no damn son in a long time. So I knew that was a bunch of bullshit.
I was trying to figure that part out. And at the end of the day, I don't care if Biden's at the beach. Biden's halfway out the door as it is, no matter what happens. So I don't care.
Man. That's
makeover. All the thousands of dollars they spend for her hair doing her makeover. That thousands of dollars.
I'm a piggyback off Brian Shaw. Oh, Brian Shaw, you changed it on me. Brian Shaw.
Yeah, said, I wanted to get onto that too when he said.
Which one was he talking about? Huh?
Okay, he just flipped it, and he said, "I don't believe in the death penalty. Too many of us get caught.
Too many of us.
Oh, too many of us. Yeah, too many of us get caught up, and many innocent people die.
Absolutely. And that's why I said that Project 2025 is very scary, because
it is.
I don't know if when you look and read into a lot of these, especially like you said, Black men who are on death row, a lot of them have proven innocent at the last minute. Week before, a couple days before, people step in and say this man did not do the crime that he's been accused of, and y'all want to put him on death row, ready to kill him, ready to just dun him off before actually proving his innocence. But he just happened to fit the description of the crime. So it's like, well, why more we need to dig in? He's already there for 45 years. What life for him is already over. It don't matter if he was innocent. So when they talk about putting that in, and it's like, I want people to really look into not just the Project 25, but how women's rights are being attacked altogether. Because, and I'm gonna look at, and you might want to look at this, from a point of view of whether it be conspiracy or not conspiracy. And I'm saying this as, as a college student, that we have done, the research and looked into this and shown that, yes, the white population is shrinking. And that goes into correlation of all of this. So when you say the white population is shrinking, and we're talking about in political beliefs, that's going to start changing on how political, certain political plans and policies are going to be put into place that's going to benefit the people that is the majority. So if the white population is shrinking, hell yeah, I'm going to attack abortion, because it's not a lot of Black females that's having abortions like that. Just like how she said earlier, it's not a lot of, Hispanics. What he said, I never said I believe in a death. Oh, no. Okay. I understand what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that, it's only Hispanics, but it is a lot of white population that's on, the benefits and receiving that. It is a lot of the white population that's getting the abortions, when you look into the statistics of it. So I really would like for people to look at it in a, put the fact that you're looking at a conspiracy. It is a real thing that the white population is shrinking. So if me, somebody who is the author of 2025, I'm going to do everything I can to save my population. And the first thing I'm going to do is attack women's rights. I'm going to attack the first human being that is allowed to have babies. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to be all pro-life, because you can't be pro-life and say you want to kill people off in the death row and all of that at the same time.
Right, exactly.
So, I'm going to start my attack there. And then I'm going to start going to trickling down to all these little things that's going to attack other populations, so I could bring my population number back up. So, and I was like, I don't know if people realize that it's a real thing. This is a real thing it is the older, not just the older white community, but community white population and all is shrinking. And no, I'm not talking about, we're in 2024, 2025, 26 is going to be a big change. No, we're talking about over the years when we get to 2030, because people are like, oh, what? 2000? Yes, 2030 is down the street. So when we get there, the population is going to look a lot different from what we see here. If those who are behind Trump or behind the Project 2025 is not going to do their part in trying to change that number so their population can grow back up to being strong and be the majority, because they're not the majority as they once was. They're not as strong as they once was. So all this rhetoric of what we hear and see with all this foolishness about, the Haitians eating this and, right. Black jobs, this is all a distraction of what's really going on. And this is not, again, I hate to look at it as a conspiracy theory, because there is actual research to show that population is dwindling down. And this is no coincidence of their population dwindling down to all this of what's happening. Because as a female, I'm still surprised that they overturned Roe v. versus Wade. I'm like, this can't be. It's still right. Like, it is a very surprising. Some people are, saying like, oh, well, it happened. No. That is the beginning of the end of my female rights, because if they start there, they're going to go further into it. Mm-hmm. And, and just like how last night Trump couldn't answer whether or not he was going to do a national ban. He didn't answer that. No. He asked several times about it, and he, like is usually, he danced like a little monkey that he is.
He danced like Fred Astaire.
And did not answer the question. And to me, that is scary as hell. Because I want access. I don't care about, it's not just about abortion, because people keep looking at, abortion. No, we're not talking about abortion. We're not even talking about just IVF, but we're talking about, actual care. I'm talking about my access to, if I want birth control, if I don't want any kids at all, I want that right. Mm-hmm. If I want to make sure that, my uterus is healthy, if I do want kids, I want that right to go to the doctor with no problems, whether it be on my end for my insurance or the doctor to say he can actually do the service and not be penalized. So all this is like, to me, it's especially a female, as a Black female, it's very scary. So I need people to really start look into the whole picture and not just focus on the foolishness that he puts out, or, all the distractions that they have, because this is some real mess that's going on behind the scenes. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a lot to be said, but it's a lot.
I tell you, Simone, it's it's really a scary situation and stuff. And a lot of people don't, not familiar with what's down the road if this man does become president. And one last thing I'll throw out there, again, these are just excerpts I took from Project 25. I didn't read the whole thing. I was kind of focused on how it's going to impact us as a people. And it's going to impact a lot of different people, not just Black folks. But one of the things that you'll find in there also is they actually want to defund every college that teach Black history. They want to defund them. No federal funds for if you're going to teach Black history at a college. They're pretty much, I think we're all from the state of Florida. We know what's going on here with our fearless, our governor.
Taking out the books and start threatening teachers. And we're not even talking about in high schools and elementary. Like I said, as a college student currently at FIU, they're not allowed to say certain things when it comes to Black history. And absolutely. I pay to come to this school. I pay to be here. And yet you're being controlled by, the government behind you saying, well, wait a minute, we can't tell them all the history, what's going on, because it's going to create division amongst the students. Cut that bullshit out. Stop.
Stop. I was a full-time teacher in Broward County, and I hit just about every elementary, middle school, and high school. And you guys are absolutely correct. There was hardly no Black history given in these schools. And I was going to introduce a book, which I did do at MacArthur Senior High School. I don't want to put them on blast, but nothing became of it. But that goes to show you what's heading toward that 2025 bingo, what you said about not only in the state of Florida, but the country.
The country.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to these institutions, HBCU schools, where they won't be able to teach Black history, the culture of the Blacks?
Yeah, exactly.
The whites definitely that you saw that. Right.
Absolutely, the origination of those schools, the HBCUs themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, we all kind of. I don't think I'm dating ourselves as far as age wise, but we all remember when we first saw Roots, right?
Right.
Y'all remember? So we was like,
I don't
man,
know.
wow, this is what
Simone
really went
might
down.
be too young.
No,
Simone.
I was in middle school.
Oh my
I knew it.
Hey, listen. But you can look at Simone. You can always find it on YouTube. But yeah,
Exactly.
Roots was kind of like the beginning of it, you know.
I seen it. I remember what happened. Oh shoot, sorry, thunder in the background. See, no, I'm gonna go watch Roots again because I think the thunder.
Okay.
If you can even find it on there now, because you know obviously you know they want to wipe away our history, so if we don't know our history, we're walking blind, and that's exactly what they want us to do. This is exactly what Project 2025 is hoping for, that they keep us in the dark, and we they know we don't read, even though we all are capable of doing it, but they like I said, if you want to keep a secret or something from a Black man or person, put it in a book.
Yeah.
Put it in a book.
Wow.
I've heard that many times, in school. You want to keep a secret, put it in a book.
Put it in
you gotta find to read.
Yep. So, but with that being said, boy, I tell you, it's a scary situation. And you know, Trump, he still hasn't acknowledged or agreed to the fact that he lost that last election. He still think he won that election.
He's not going to. He's not going.
Yeah. He ain't gonna let it go.
5 years later, he's not going to. And that's why I say again, all these little distractions is what's going on from what's the real story in the back of the scene. So it's like all these little things. And even though and I don't want to call January 6th little, that was a big distraction of, what's really going on. But that was terrible. He's never going to admit that he was a part of it. He's never going to admit that he called on for it. He's never going to admit that he was the reason why it happened. So it's just a distraction. And it's like, we got to really start looking into the bigger picture of what's going on with this man if he gets back into the office. I
got something to say, Simone. Brian Shaw just put in here, he funded more HBCUs than even Obama did. Who, Brian? Who you talking about?
I'm going to assume he's going to say Trump, but
yeah.
I'm not going to. I don't want to disagree because I don't have proof and research on that. But I would love to see the proof and research on that. That if he did, he did. Again, this is not to sit here, and I personally don't want to sit and Trump is this and that and that. I want to hear the good things that he actually did. But the fact is that he's such an embarrassment for all the other things that he say and do. If he did that, that's a 1% out of the 100 other things that he did terrible. That's my problem.
He didn't do that though. Biden,
if he did that,
their campaign I think donated over $16 million to HBCUs, and prior to that, Trump basically done nothing for HBCUs and stuff. So that, Brian, we got to do a fight. We got to do a fact check on you on that one, Brian.
Exactly.
You got to do a fact check.
Come on, bring it out, Brian.
Listen, the only thing I think Trump actually did for the Black people was release, what's his name? The rapper that live in Pompano. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I just forgot. Kodak Black. I'm sorry. That's the only thing he did for Black people. I can't think of much else that Trump has actually done something for Black people to say, okay, this trickled down and I saw and felt the effect of this. I can't.
Gerald Barnes, Simone. Did you read that?
How they treated Blacks and stole land. Of course. But that's the history that they're trying to wipe away.
That's a good one, Barnes. That's a good one.
Yeah, but that's the history that they're trying to wipe away because they don't want that to be told anymore. They don't want to be told that, yeah, your ancestors came here and literally killed Black, you put Black people to slave and killed them at the same time. You came here on your big ships and everything and saw the Indians here, killed them and took their land away from them as well. And still don't want to admit that this is the wrongdoing that you have done. So why admit it if I can erase it? If I could sit here and start erasing it, and this is again what Project 25 is doing, and this is what our great governor, the Satan, is doing as well, is erase that history and take it out. Because let me distract you and take these things out, because at the same time, while I'm doing it, I'm not doing nothing for the Black people. This is not this. You saying this it's creating division if we continue to teach children about the history of Black people, famous or slaves or however it may be. No, you are creating more division, because now I'm gonna feel left out, because all I am hearing about is, that slave was a trade. Slave was a choice. Slave is where they learned skills and made it seem like it wasn't such a bad idea during that time, and we actually benefited off of that. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. But that's
I would like to see him be hung by a tree. I like to see if he be hung by a tree or whipped.
No, they can't do with that. They can't. And then it's sad because, me being in when I grew up, here, and I went to Perry Middle School here, I saw the images. We got to see the images of the worst of the worst. We saw all of that. Kids aren't going to be able to experience that. So they don't, in their mind, they think, well, slave happened. A bunch of people were shackled and they were forced to work. And that's pretty much the end of it. And I was like, that wasn't the end of it. That was the beginning of the end before we got to the point of where we are today. Slave was just the beginning of the ending of, that era where, because we still had to go through in the 40s and the 30s of being, having to deal with racists, being kidnapped, being raped, being forced out of, homes, being, having our churches set afire. It was all of that we went through. So it wasn't just about slaves. We're not just talking about that. But at the same time, they're doing this so to erase and to make themselves look better. That's all it is.
Right. Did you see Barnes' comment again?
Oh, yes. He just gave up. He told 25 more. I checked.
Barnes, boy, you on point. Barnes on point.
Listen,
again, big G money out there. But yeah, you know what? They were trying to do fact check as they went along, and obviously, it took a little bit of time to do that while they were debating and stuff. And everything. We all know that every time Trump lips move, he lying. So there ain't no secret to nobody. That ain't no secret.
Kamala called it as soon as she got up there. She said it ain't gonna be nothing different than the lies that he already told. It's gonna be the same lies that you hear right now.
Same old story.
And just as her facial expression was being shown, my facial expression was the same, looking at him the same way. And I'm like, did he just say? You kind of gotta laugh, because it's like, wait a minute, this he really just said that you can abort a baby after it was born? Like, what kind of pro-life are we talking? Because if I'm correct, that's murder. like all these little fact check, and they had to stop and say, Mr. Trump, you cannot abort a baby after it's been born. And I'm just like, how is this again not an embarrassment for the Republican Party? Like, how? You have to feel embarrassed that this is what y'all picked as your, presidential leader or nominee that could, hopefully is not going to be our president. But this is what y'all picked. Like, this is what y'all got.
But you know what, Simone? That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want.
I want to believe that. And I believe it's I don't believe that all the Republicans actually want that. But because he serves such a popularity of conservatives and other parties that don't consider themselves Republican but are more extremist on that end, their popularity is so much stronger than, the true Republicans, that they outnumber them. That's how I look at it. Now, I want to make sure that's correct, but watching and seeing over the years, from when he won the election the first time and lost it and then said that it was stolen from him after that, I don't believe it's real Republicans behind him. I do believe that it's a lot of extremists. I believe it's a lot of, strong conservatives, what do they call them? The left or whatever, right? Whatever the right wings, those are the heavier people that's behind him, that's bringing his popularity up. So if you haven't told, I don't have a real party affiliation. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, because I want to see both parties bring up an actual nominee that is going to combat each other on political policies. Again, that's going to make me look at the both of them and I want to be confused on who should I pick, because their policies, work for this and this policy work for that, but they're actually proper nominees. But when you pick somebody, Trump, because you picked it off of popularity and the foolishness that he says, just so, the extremists and the left or right or whoever is behind him can push their agenda, because, he's, I say, he's stupid enough to allow this stuff to happen. He's going to allow these things to happen and come right into the White House. And it's like, Trump, we already see the foolishness that he does and he says and do. It's not him I'm afraid of. It's the people behind him I am.
There's 74 million people that voted for him and stuff that year he lost to Biden. So, that's why I say it's the mentality of the country, not just him, because if these people didn't agree to his philosophies, they wouldn't be riding with him. But what you're noticing now is a lot of them, the light is clicking in their head. I'm like, a lot of the Republicans and powerful Republicans as well. I mean, your own vice president from who was in the office with you for 4 years decided he's not going to vote for you. He's going to vote for Kamala. You know what I'm saying? So that tells me that light is starting to click with white people, and they say, you know what, hold up, we can't keep on with this mess, because this man.
Exactly, because it's some stuff that's why I said, and this is why I said, if you as a Black person are going to be behind Trump, be all the way behind, because we see, our real Republicans are starting to jump ship from behind him, because they know this can't be real. They see the stuff and they see, the foolishness that he spews out, the lies, this numerous lies that he just says off the top of his little dome continuously, and realizes that he don't have no plan of anything. But I'm gonna say, Kamala don't have no plan, because if I keep saying that she don't have no plan, I ain't gotta talk about how I don't have no plan, because I'm gonna put the focus on how you don't have a plan. But people are starting to open up their eyes and realize that and be like, oh,
wait a minute,
this is maybe not what we want.
And you know what? And you know what, Simone, you mentioned earlier that maybe you were registered independent now, and actually I switched my party affiliates to independence as well a couple of years ago, and so I'm not a staunch believer in everything that the Democrats put out there.
Correct.
And there's some things that actually Republicans have said. I'm like, okay, I can ride with that. But correct. Again, like you said, in this situation where you gotta make a decision, and you gotta take the worst of the two evils, and so common sense to tell you. That one evil damn sure initial damn sure ain't DT. It's not DT, that's for sure. So right. Even though there's so many things there where, like you said, Democrats put up policies that I thought was garbage too.
Absolutely.
But I can't. For me, and let me finish this right quick. But for me, and a lot of military people, and you included, James, I cannot fathom the idea, because I thought this man was going to get us into World War III when he ran his last election. I thought he was going to get us into World War III, but I cannot fathom this dude sitting on the most powerful country in the world with all the best military ever, and he can be irrational. And his favorites are Putin and Kim Jong-un. So exactly. Shit. I mean, listen. I'm telling you, all those top secret and James, again, I know you know about the top secret, confidential, for need to know on the basis type of classifications.
Right.
How you know what they would have did to you and me if we, because I
Yes.
served in the military as well. If they would have found top secret
As well as
information in our house.
Shaw, I just want to pull that out there because he did say he's a retired military. Thank you for your service too, Mr. Shaw. I appreciate it.
Oh
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
Brian. Yeah, that's
definitely.
right. Yep. 30 years,
so,
Brian.
Yeah, that's a long
But
time. You served 30 years.
Piggybacking on you, Bingo. Yeah, I mean, I was top secret. I was walking around top secret myself back in the 70s. And speaking of the 70s, I was an NPA, which is a non-party affiliation. I started for myself back in the 70s because I was seeing both parties stealing from the same cookie jar. So I got tired of that. So what I did, I just went independent. That way, like you said, Simone, I could pick and choose who I want to be the president of the United States.
Right.
I don't want to be led by no party.
Right. Now, and I
really
want to put this out there, and the only downside that you have when you pick as an NPA is that when it comes to your local government, because when it comes to your local government, yes, you might be able to vote in certain things, but when it comes down to the actual party affiliation, you don't get to vote like that because you don't have a party affiliation in that. And I'm not going to lie, that was something I recently learned. I didn't realize that until recently when I was like, wait a minute, why I didn't get to pick, who's going to be mayor of Miramar or who's going to be sitting in the Senate seat of XYZ, because it's like, because it's all Republican Democratic.
Well,
it's not. It comes
well,
down
you got to remember though, Simone. I'm back in the 70s, so this thing was almost non-existent back then.
See, and,
what I
and now it's like, and I don't like that.
Now
and
it's a big deal,
Yeah, I hate the fact that that's a thing where you have to be a part of a party in order to participate in some of the votings. Which that
right. But back in my time,
is not right because, and this is where I think it was Brian Shaw who said that how we need to have young Black men come on because they're leaving the Democratic Party in droves. But I kind of feel like in a little more detail, and I'm not saying I don't know about young Black men specifically, but I know a lot of Black youth. Again, this is where I say coming from my daughter's generation, they don't have no party affiliation. They don't care about no Republican or Democratic. They just care okay, who's going to benefit me for real? How am I going to be able to get to college and whether I have to pay or don't pay? Who's going to make sure that I'm going to be able to make some money when I do finish college and I'm not in debt? So they don't care about no Republican or no Democrat. So that being said, it's that's where a lot of it, how we vote, does need to change because it should be everybody. If I'm a citizen, once I'm a citizen or I'm a resident of whatever city, state I live in, I should be able to vote with everything that affects me, not just because it's a party affiliation. So that's,
and I agree with you, Simone, on that one.
Right. And I think that's where a lot of, where I think he was saying that Black men are leaving the Democratic Party, but they're not. I don't feel that they're leaving the Democratic Party to go Republican. They're just they're not picking a side. Again, I could bring, my daughter in, she could tell just the group chat alone is they don't have a side of, I'm a Republican or, I'm a this and that. Half of them don't even know what the hell that is because they don't care about no Democrat or Republican. Right. They know they don't, a lot of them don't like Trump, but at the same time, a lot of them don't understand Kamala. So it ain't about a party affiliation. It's who going to benefit me the most. And when it comes time for these kids to start, they're 18, 19, and 20, how are they going to be able to put that voice in motion and vote if we have to only vote because of a party affiliation? So I wanted to say that because, like I said, I didn't realize that because I'm an NPA, I don't get to vote in every little part of, my local government. And I kind of find that's a little unfair because I'm a resident here. I pay taxes here. Why not?
That's it.
Oh, Bingo, we can't hear you. I think you're still on mute.
Yeah, I was.
There
I
we go.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, I was trying to get the doctor back in, and she for some reason she couldn't log back in, so I'm trying to get her back on. Um, but yeah, you talk about the uh, the uh, the local voting, which just took place, and I did a mail in, and it didn't list me at anything as a independent, but everybody that was on the ballot was either Democrat or Republican. So I had to vote Democratic or Republican in that regard. So obviously, for the most part,
Right.
all of it, I went down the Democratic line. So yeah, I was still able to still able to vote. And a lot of people don't understand. And I tell people, right now, I mean, listen, you want to see change, we got to do that 2-year
You
election.
have to.
We got to, because those are the ones that's
That's
really
the
impacting
real
your
change.
everyday life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Granted, yes, we talk about voting for the president and who policies, who good and blah, blah, blah. That affects the nation. But before it affects the nation, what's going to affect you in your city? Who's writing those real policy and plans of where jurisdiction your school is going to be into, what school your child can and cannot go to, what's considered a medium income because you live on this side of the line and not that side. And all that was in the voting package that you dismissed because you didn't want to be bothered. So I strongly agree. And this is why, again, I look at the youth when we say like, oh, we're not a party affiliation. And a lot of times they take that as, because I'm not a party affiliated with a party, I'm not going to vote because there is only Democrats or Republicans. No, and this is, again, I would love for this to be a conversation in schools that you don't have to be, a Republican or a Democrat to vote for either one. You're going to vote for the one that is beneficial to you and what you stand for. That might be a Republican one day and that might be a Democrat the other day. But a lot of times I don't think they really understand that. They just look at that, I don't want to be a part of either of these two parties because both of them are bullshit. And then neither one of them is saying what I need them to say or do for me. But you still have to put your voice out there and vote, because it's going to be one that is going to say and do what you want to do. You might miss out on giving them the opportunity to be in office because you didn't vote. So that's something, I think a lot of youth need to understand, that you don't have to be a party affiliation, but you should vote regardless. It don't matter if you vote all Democrat or all Republican. Vote for who you know is going to be a part of what you stand for.
Bingo. So long. I have to leave, and I want to thank y'all so much. I don't know if can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, technical. Just let him know I had to go. Okay.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much.
All right, James. Yeah, I was on the phone with. He's gone.
Yeah, he said he had to go.
Okay, I was on the phone with Dr. Powell, so I was able to have to get her back on and stuff.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes myself as well.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Listen, Doc, we kind of went over quite a few little things there while you were out. There was a lot of emphasis coming from Brian Shaw in the comments section, and kind of piggyback on some of him and Gerald Bonds had some good comments on a lot of the good things.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. That's how the prison situation started. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, well, I read that about the prison system. There was an amendment. I'm trying to think. I don't know what number it was, but the way they worded that amendment called for the prison system. So prior to them even prior to slavery even ending, they had already set up the amendment for the prison system, because when you read the wording in that amendment, it talks about slavery being outlawed except in the case of, and I can't tell you right now exactly. I used to know the exact wording of it, but there is an amendment, the same amendment that freed us from slavery, turned right around and set up the prison system.
So basically,
they didn't have to.
I guess it said in slavery is okay out it's okay inside the prison system, but not okay if you're outside the prison system. So
yeah. So they always cover their ground.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say the people that believe in this superiority thing is just like with the 2025. Trump isn't in this alone. He's just the person that's standing out front.
correct.
He's just a mouthpiece. He's just the person that was brave enough to come out and
Correct.
speak the words that he's speaking. That's why he has to say what he's saying without any remorse, without any guilt. How can you have guilt? People are only guilty or feel guilty when they consider what they're doing as wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not wrong with what you're doing, then you don't have a reason to feel guilty. That's why I always told my kids, I just want to hear in this situation, I want to hear you say whether you were right or wrong. I don't want to know if you were sorry. I want to know if you were right or wrong. Because if they acknowledge the wrong at some point, then there will be a guilt or remorse there. But people don't, as long as they feel like they're doing what's right and saying what's right, they'll keep doing that.
Listen, the last thing we can expect from Donald Trump is remorse or guilt. Remember last night they asked him about the insurrection, the quote unquote insurrection, that mob going on January the 6th. And they asked him, did he regret it? He didn't answer it. He didn't say no. I didn't regret it. He didn't say no. By him not answering, he acknowledged he didn't give a damn. He wasn't regretting a damn thing. And I asked him a couple of times, and he refused to answer it.
That's right. Did you see when he even asked me, said, would you do anything differently? He didn't answer that either.
Mm-mm.
And then he talked
No,
about how he felt that those people were done wrong. So that within itself gave you the answer. And I don't know, and I feel in my heart that no one is really paying attention to the like you have dog whistles, to the things that he's throwing out there about this bloodbath, World War
That's
III.
scary. That
Yeah, that's very
and
scary.
it may come to fruition if he loses this time, because he's been blowing the dog whistle for the last 6 months now. He's been blowing it, especially when Kamala took over in replacement of Biden. He's been blowing his dog whistle. I'm telling
all
you,
the way. All
they
the way.
ready.
Real quick, I wanted to talk about what Brian said in one of his comments. And in one of his comments, he said, "We know she locked up more Black people due to Biden 3-strike law signed by Clinton into law." I have a problem with that because you keep hearing this rumor of that, oh, how she locked up so many Black men. She locked up, she was a mass incarceration. We knew that was a rumor. And you would know if it's a rumor if you look back at her track record. But when people saying that, what are we comparing that to? Or what are we comparing? Because you can't compare it to what Trump has done because he's never been a prosecutor, a lawyer, or anything of a substantial career in his life, but a showman. So who are we comparing it to of who she locked up more? And when we say more Black men, are we talking about the fact that she was in a state or a city where the population was more Black, so it happened to be more Black men? And also, when you say the Biden 3-strike law, again, you said Biden 3-strike law, but if you know the political history, that was Clinton's law, where 3 strikes, you're done. So that was signed into the law by Clinton, but it's not Biden's law. And that was across the nation. I don't know how it was in California, but I felt it more personally here in Florida when I looked at my friends, or a lot of my friends who unfortunately did do wrong, that if you had a gun, if you pulled it out, this is going to happen. If you shoot it, that's going to happen. That was the 3-strike law. And I seen it in play here in Florida. I don't know how it played out in California when she was attorney general there. But this rumor of her saying that she locked up so many Black men, she did a mass incarceration, those are rumors from Trump's side, of course, to show a distraction of of her career as an attorney. I don't want to say a lawyer because there's a difference between lawyer and attorney. As an attorney, general, while she was in California, who are we comparing it to? And, I kind of wish, not just Brian, but a lot of people who saying that, because you can't compare it to Trump's career in law because he ain't got one. So when we pull up these type of rumors, a lot of it is untrue, of course. Where's the proof behind that? Because what I have read is that it wasn't no mass incarceration of Black men. There wasn't she didn't. It's like the way they made it seem is like she stood at, outside the courthouse and said, okay, all y'all Black men is going to jail, and without substantial proof of anything, any crimes they did. And that's not the case.
Right.
So
exactly.
She
had to deal with what was put in front of her. And there's no secret who was the biggest population in the federal prisons. You think you think Kamala had something to do with all that?
It's like they're making it seem like she single-handedly, put so much of it, the years that she was Attorney General there, that she single-handedly put every single Black man into jail. And we know that's not how Attorney Generals work. That's not how it works. They don't do that. So at the same time, when we hear these rumors, I kind of wanted to get that a little cleared up, because again, if you look at her track record during that time, no, there's no proof of any type of mass incarceration. I can never say that word properly.
Incarceration.
There's no proof of that. So that is literally a rumor that was created by Trump's people as a distraction, of course. But absolutely. If we're going to say that if she did something wrong, I want it to be shown proof, and that, yeah, she did this wrong. I'm not going to sit here and feel like, again, because I just like how I said, I don't see, Trump did anything where it trickled down to where I felt it in my back pocket or my finances.
Trump probably turned away more Black people from getting an apartment or when he was renting out his property and turning Black people. He probably turned away more Blacks than she supposedly put in jail.
And what? With that being said, too, as a New Yorker, it still surprises me. Like, y'all really picked Trump? Do y'all know him from New York? Do y'all know like who he was in? Okay.
I'm telling you. And you mentioned, somebody mentioned earlier about him having a silver spoon in his mouth. He inherited $400 million. That's a hell of a silver spoon. Okay. And with that being said, this man wound up filing bankruptcy. Not one, not two, like LeBron, 3, 4, 6 times he filed bankruptcy. This man inherited $400 million. And he still filed bankruptcy 6 times. So listen, we can go on and on and on. And Simone, I know you got to go.
I can see Brian's like, prove me wrong, and I'm like, man, let me find the link and send it to you, because that's something, and it is actual fact that no, there was no mass incarceration from her when she was State Attorney General. So you can't sit here and say that rumor came from the other party. Now, if you say, oh, she locked up, 25,000 men, Black men, compared to the State Attorney General a year before her, where they only locked up 10,000 Black men. And she, that was the number that we're writing on, the 25,000 Black men. But we know none of that is true. And to be honest, even if it was true, we should be sad for both sides that if she was able to lock up that much Black men, whether it was 25 or 10,000, that's very sad for either number. And that's what we should be focused on, the fact that, no, we shouldn't have these things going on. And that's a deeper conversation of what's going on in our Black community, why so much Black men can be arrested and put into jail for whatever crime they may or may not have committed. So
absolutely.
We look into that. No, I know you didn't say mass incarceration, but that's where that came from, where that she locked away the most Black men because it was a mass incarceration of Black men. That's where that rumor came from. So that's why I said that. And no, it's not you per se, but that rumor came from Trump's background, his little peoples, his little muffins. So I just wanted to be, stand correct on that.
All right.
But
listen, we're getting ready to wind things down here, y'all. I appreciate everybody joining us. right here on my podcast. The original name is What's Really Going On, and that's all about what's really going on. I mean, things don't always just like a magic show. What you see is not what's really going on, and we're trying to get behind it and see what's really going on. Project 2025. There's a whole lot of shit going on with that. And listen, I'm a little bit nervous too if Trump wins the White House. I'm not sure, man, what this is going to turn out to be like, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. Simone, I appreciate you joining us. We got to do this again, no doubt about it. And what I'm going to be doing, like I say, my YouTube channel there. What I usually do is several different things I'll try to do in regards to that. And I'll keep y'all posted and stuff. If you're looking to do something like that or be on the panel or whatever the case may be. I still got comments coming in, but we've been at it for almost 2 hours now, which is kind of long.
Yeah.
And but again, it's a lot to be said. I knew it was going to be a lot to be said. And the doctor just chimed back in. But Doc, we was just getting ready to wind things down here and call it a day. But we can listen. We can, if y'all willing, we can always do it, part 2 or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
It's up, I'm down with it. And one of the things that I plan on trying to do a little bit later on is something a little bit different. I'm into the music thing, and so I'm thinking about doing like a virtual happy hour where I play music, and then we sit around and we talk about the current events that are happening as they happen. So if y'all may be interested in something like that, and it kind of give you a little bit of something different to take a look at. But in the meantime,
can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Doc, you gonna keep it short?
Yes. I want to know if you might do something on 2025. We can get back together, exchange phone numbers or whatever. You could give Simone my phone number or whatever. And I'd just like to know if we could do something on 2025.
Sure.
Some kind of review, for the public to help educate the public.
Absolutely, and I'm wholehearted. That's why I try to throw a few little things I threw out there at you from Project 2025. But there's a whole lot. He wants to defund. Was it the Department of Education as well? There's some things in there where he wants the military to take a hit. So when I say. So there's that Project 25 is very, very in depth, and it's spelling it out. They put out the blue book.
You can divide it up, into pages. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody can present the pages that they have, and then questions can come from that, and divide another section. Divide it up into sections because I think education is the most important part.
Absolutely, and for me, like I said, it's anything that's impacting the black man as well as the military will be of importance to me. I mean, all of it's important because we're going to be impacted either way. So yeah, we can do that. I don't know, Simone. I mean, Doc, you might be the historian here that you got a lot of experience in a lot of this stuff here. You might be able to dissect and understand that Project 2025 better than all of us. So yeah, if you want to do something like that, just hit me up. Let me know. We'll get back together.
I'd like for it to be a shared project.
A shared project?
Yeah. What I'm saying is I like to look over it and then maybe you see how we can divide it up. And like I have division 1 or 2 or whatever. Simone have a division. The other guy that was on, and if Brian, he seemed to give a lot of comments, and see if enough of us can get a division so we won't have that whole 900 and something.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely not. Like I said,
maybe do
for me,
one part, maybe divide it into 3 or 4 sessions. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd like to do that if you all are interested.
That's fine.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I don't have a problem with it. We try to put something together and see see when we can do it. I mean, we can obviously I don't know, can't launch it. Do it next week, maybe. But again, I'm sure we're gonna need a little time to get to that and read through it even more.
Okay.
So, but when
I'll see if I can find a copy. I'll email. I'm sure you all already have downloaded a copy, haven't you?
Actually, I haven't downloaded, but if you got one and you can email it to us, that'd be even better.
I got your email address.
Okay, and if you need Simone's information, you can get that from Simone as well, and then James Yeah, I like the idea
my
because
number, so since you have my number, just give Simone my number.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, good. Because I'm
But
all
I
about
enjoyed this. This was pretty cool, and I enjoyed this.
Okay.
I appreciate
the platform to discuss.
Yeah.
Right. And Brian and Gerald and Lee and Dee and anybody else that listen in on us. I appreciate you listening in and chiming in with your comments. We try to keep this a two-way type of thing, and so appreciate it.
Okay.
So in the meantime, y'all make sure y'all go to the. Let me do my shameless plug, okay? Can I do my shameless plug?
Go ahead.
All right, let me go ahead and throw my shameless plug in here. All right, what we got here? Can y'all hear that music? Okay, is it too loud?
Nope.
You can't hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. It's not too loud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. That's me. I mean, that's my YouTube channel. And I got several different videos on there as well. Like I said, I do sports, music, the topics of drones. I did one door knocking where the cops, different things, different subject matters. I don't just try to keep it at one type of subject. But anyway, listen, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate y'all once again. We'll keep in touch for sure, and we're gonna take a look at that what you mentioned, Doc. I think that's a good idea because it's all about educating anybody that want to listen. You just got to find somebody that want to listen.
Exactly.
So, but we will. All right.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
all right.
Thanks a lot.
All
Thank
right.
you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
We won't kind of polish up. Keep us down. See, our time that finally came around. I'm on the move. The groove. Ain't no stopping us now. I know. We got it. Yes, I know we got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. On the move. We got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. See, we won't let it happen no more. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. We really got the groove. We got the groove.
McFadden and Whitehead coming at you, talking about a little bit. Ain't no stopping us now. This is the one and only one, DJ Bing Long, up in the house, coming off that hot podcast. What's really going on? Prosecutor versus the convicted felon, Mr. Trump himself. Appreciate my guests for joining us tonight. Make sure y'all tune in the next time around. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when I'm back live once again. We will be coming back at you at some point soon. There ain't no stopping us. We're out of here.
No stopping. No stopping.